Good day, everyone. This is Sidnile Fofe of SL Podcasts. I'm very excited again today to be sharing information with you, the information that is meant to change your life and make you better. We are excited again today to be sharing information. This is what we love to do. We really are working hard to try to impart our experiences with the rest of the people so that we can improve, we can do our best to be the best version of ourselves. It is very critical for us to be sharing information. And today we are talking about one of the most important topics. This has been a life-defining things. A lot of us can fulfill our potential because we have suffered from topics like this, and we'll try as much as possible to do our best to elaborate on it so that we can squeeze the best out of everything we will be discussing today. We are talking about self-doubt. A lot of us have suffered because of self-doubt. A lot of us don't see our value because of self-doubt. We have not reached our potential because of self-doubt. Self-doubt has been something that has hindered a lot of people. And we really need to talk about things like this so that we can at least bring a little bit of awareness so that we can see how we can improve, or we can see how we can maneuver around some things which have been a hindrance in our lives. Self-doubt is one of the things which are very critical. If we doubt ourselves, if we doubt our abilities, if we doubt our capabilities, we can't do what we need to do. And we can't do and occupy the spaces we need to occupy, because we'll be doubting ourselves. We'll be looking at ourselves as if we are not worthy of certain things. That's why we are talking about self-doubt today. It has become apparent, this is the reality of life, that there are many good people out there. There are very gifted people out there, but mostly are hidden in debt, or they are hidden in issues like self-doubt. They don't know their value. They don't know their capabilities because they doubt their abilities and their gifts. Even though it is obvious they are good and they're gifted, but they just can't express themselves because they doubt their abilities. Even though they are better than other people who are out there doing whatever thing they are doing, but they are hidden in obscurity because they doubt their abilities, they doubt their gifts. And this thing is a tragedy because we can't keep losing people who are good and who are gifted because they doubt themselves. We need to be talking about this thing so that we can help those who are looking down upon themselves, even though they are good and they are gifted. So there are so many able-bodied people and highly capable people out there. And so unfortunately, they are on the backside of life. They are on the peripheries of life. And they are breaking their backs and working tirelessly in trying to prove themselves in the backside of life. And they are working very hard to keep those who are in position of power successful. So whatever they do, they keep the organizations going, they do all these things, but they don't even have a clue that They are the ones who are the engines, and they are the driving force behind the success of organizations and the success of the teams, because they don't see themselves the way they're supposed to see themselves, because they doubt their abilities, they doubt themselves. That's why today we are saying we need to talk about self-doubt, because it is one of the things which has been seen as a stumbling block or a hindrance for people to express themselves the best way they can. Many people are grounded by self-doubt. This thing is an obvious thing. A lot of people are grounded. They can't raise their heads up because they doubt themselves. They don't see themselves as people of great value. They doubt themselves. And unfortunately, they are blinded to even realize they are the engines and the driving force behind the success of where they are. This is the truth, and this is the honest truth that we need to be dealing with. Those who are grounded, they can't do much. And those who are blinded to see the reality that they are the engines and the driving force of the success of the organizations and the things that they are doing. Unfortunately, if you don't see your value and you don't see your worth, you will always be on the backside and the peripheries of life. Self-doubt has robbed many people of being the best version of themselves. This is the truth that we need to be dealing with today. And many people have settled for less in life, life of mediocrity and below par type of living, because they doubt their abilities. Just because you don't speak like other people or you don't do things like other people, and then you look at yourself as if you are a lesser human being, as if you are lesser able to do what you need to do. You deny yourself a chance to be the best version of yourself, and you deny the world of experiencing the life-changing moments with you because you doubt your abilities, because you are unique and you are different. This is the reality that we'll be dealing with today, which is very important. We have allowed self-doubt to be a driving force behind our decision-making. We make decisions based on how we see ourselves. And we really need to come to terms with the fact that we have given so much power to self-doubt that it is hindering us from making progress on any front. Every decision that many people make in this life, so it's filtered through the dominant and ever-controlling force of self-doubt. And as long as we are there, we are always going to be on the backside of life. If we are going to filter everything through the dominant force of self-doubt, we are never going to make strides on anything. You'll be the best in whatever you are, but you won't do anything because you filtered everything through the dominant and ever-controlling force of self-doubt. You are never going to see your worth. You are never going to do anything, unfortunately. And you'll be grounded into a life of mediocrity because you don't see your value. You don't see your capabilities as enough to do what you need to do. Self-doubt has been a force, and it has stolen a lot of things from us. Self-doubt has denied us of good leaders. It has denied us of good managers. It has denied us of life influencers and life-changing moments with people. This is something that we need to pay particular attention to. A lot of people with life-changing gifts have been hidden, and they are on the backside of life because they doubt their abilities. Self-doubt has been a dominant controlling force in their decision making, and they can't do anything because they doubt their abilities. So while many people are still drowning in the flood of self-doubt, this has opened a door, or it has opened doors for the other group of people, the people who are egocentric, who are self-confident, people who are self-serving, the narcissistic. These are the people who have taken over. And because they are not good enough, they can talk louder and they can express themselves better, but they're not good enough. And that can account for the failure rates of many organizations and many governments. Because if the self-confident and the self-serving and the egocentric and the narcissistic so are the ones who are occupying spaces of power and control, we are in trouble. And that's why we are not making a lot of strides. That's why we have organizations, we have governments, we have places which are supposed to be doing far much better, but they're not doing far much better because of the issues of leadership. The people who are able and who have the capability of making things work are on the backside of life because they don't believe in their abilities. And it has opened doors for the self-confident, yet incompetent. And these people are mostly men. And that's why our organizations and a lot of organizations are led by men. And they are doing badly. Well-resourced, with good systems, and everything in place for the organizations to be doing well. But they are not doing well because they are led by self-confident, yet incompetent leaders. And we always question other things instead of looking at the issue of leadership, which is very critical. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And if we have people who can talk louder, yet incompetent, and who will be there confidently presenting their issues and manipulative in their speeches, and they will be pointing at other things and other people as if those things are the problem. But we need to realize that because of the issue of self-doubt, a lot of people who are capable, who are supposed to be leading and guiding and making the organizations successful, are on the backside because they doubt themselves. People who are supposed to be leading teams are on the backside of life, doubting themselves. And we see organizations struggling badly with self-confident yet incompetent leaders. And because they speak louder and they have confidence and they are manipulative, we always miss the mark. And we don't put the blame where it's supposed to be, because if people can articulate better, we think they are saying something which is sensible. Yet, the results which are supposed to be showing are not there. We don't see the success of organizations and governments because a lot of people who are supposed to have taken control over all these things are on the backside of life. We really need to pay particular attention to things like this. We always wonder, why are we not making strides in a lot of things? And we have just explained that everything rises and falls on leadership. If the right people are not in place, obviously we are going to see the struggle of many organizations and many governments. And unfortunately, because of self-doubt, people who are supposed to be occupying the positions of leadership are in obscurity. They are on the backside of life because they've been overshadowed. They've been outplayed by the self-confident, egocentric, self-centered, narcissistic leaders. They've taken over and they have pushed everybody aside, and they are making a mess out of everything. So we need to pay a particular attention to this thing called self-doubt. It has robbed us of leaders. It has robbed us of good artists. It has robbed us of the people who are supposed to have taken control. And we need to pay particular attention to this thing so that it may not hinder us. We need to look down upon ourselves and say, am I allowing self-doubt to stop me and to hinder me from doing what I need to do? This is something that we really need to pay particular attention to. Good and competent leaders, they drive organizations to success. Incompetent leaders bring good organizations to their knees. This is a fact. When you are good, you are good. And when you are bad, you are bad. And we see by the results. We don't see by the amounts of words that people talk or say. We see the results. We see the fruits that come. And the fruits, if the fruits are bad, we know this is not a good leader. If there are no results, we can't talk about a good leader when there are no results. We can't talk about people making strides when there are no good results. And unfortunately, we have been robbed by this thing called self-doubt of the people who are supposed to have taken positions, because they doubt themselves and they look down upon themselves and they can't do much because they've been overshadowed. They've been pushed to the sides. This is something that we really need to pay particular attention to. Because of the people who are allowed, we have come to a place where we make choices. Whenever we call people to positions of power or people go for interview, this is what usually happens. We are more inclined to people who are louder and who are showing a little bit of more confidence. And we push aside people who are not more into self-promotion, who will be saying and stating facts. And those who are louder usually take positions. And they make a mess out of everything. So, and this should be a lesson to all of us to say, maybe our inclination of choices are messing us up and we are making a mess out of everything. We should look closely to our choices. We need to really understand that there are still good people out there who can make differences. And mostly they are covered in that of self-doubt. And we really need to pay particular attention to things like this. And one thing that we need to admit to is the fact that obviously positions of power and going out and doing what we need to do is scary. And obviously, when we are scared, we start questioning ourselves. Am I making the right move? Am I the right person to be doing this? This is where self-doubt kicks in. And if we are going to allow ourselves to make decisions based on our fears, we are never going to amount to anything. We are never going to push ourselves to do what we are capable of doing because all of us are scared. And we need to do something scared. Whenever we doubt ourselves, we need to push ourselves a little bit harder and say, but I can do this. And what I'm doing now, I'm not the most eloquent guy. And there are people who have better voices and all that. And obviously, because of that, I always ask myself, should I do this or should I not do it? But had I stopped doing it, I was never going to realize that I can do some of these things. And it is very important for us to always push ourselves beyond our doubts and beyond our fears. It is very important for us to keep doing that. And if we keep doing it, we'll get there. Because, like I said, some of these things are scary. Obviously, we are going to ask ourselves questions. Am I good enough? And we need to go beyond that and realize that we are good enough. We are capable. We have abilities. And we need to push ourselves a little bit harder to occupy spaces that we need to occupy so that we can give ourselves a chance to explore ourselves a little bit more and to push and to be the best version of ourselves. It is very important. And we need to admit to the fact that great leaders, all of us, everyone, start off from a position of self-doubt. And we need to live beyond that to a place where now we grow in confidence and we realize that the more we do certain things, we come to a place where we can now operate in full throttle or with full capability because we kept on doing what we needed to do until confidence zapped us and we keep doing what we need to be doing at that particular time. We really shouldn't pay particular attention to our feeling of self-doubt. We really don't need to do that because these are just feelings. These are just the things that are supposed to be checking us, or these are the things that are just there to check if we can live beyond our feelings. Our feelings are not everything. Sometimes we feel bad, only to feel good after we taste victory. This is something that we really need to understand. We don't need to pay particular attention to how we feel, this self-doubt and some fears. We need to live beyond that because if we don't do that, we are robbing ourselves of a good chance to see if we can do certain things and to experience life in a different way. All of us, we have this feeling of self-doubt. We question our abilities. We question everything about ourselves. We question our capabilities. But we need to live beyond that. Because if we don't live beyond that, we are never going to amount to anything. We do some things afraid. Feelings, we don't need to pay particular attention to feelings because they're going to stop us and hinder us from experiencing what we can experience in life. So if we fail to put life into perspective, we will rob the world of life changes or game changers. We need to put life into perspective and live beyond feelings. We need to do some things afraid. All these fears and all the questions that we ask ourselves, that can come as a hindrance. And that can fuel the energy of self-doubt. We need to look beyond that and live our lives the best way we can. It is very important. The thing that is surprising, we don't know much about ourselves. We don't know what is beneath our sleeves. Yet we want to make decisions before we give ourselves a chance to explore life. We are never going to know if we are good at something if we don't give it a try. That's why when self-doubt comes, you need to be asking yourself, so what am I afraid of? I have not even given myself a chance to give it a try. If I try it and it doesn't go well with me, it's fine, I can put it aside, but let me give myself a chance. That should be our mindset, to say, I don't know much about myself. Let me explore what I can do. Let me explore life a little bit. And the more you do that, the more you're going to be giving yourself a chance to do away with self-doubt and live life beyond self-doubt. This is something that we really need to look into. It is okay to have self-doubt. Looking at the magnitude of the work that is before us, it is okay. But it is tragic to allow self-doubt to paralyze us. It is okay to feel the feeling, but it will be tragic if we are going to allow it to paralyze us into inactivity and reduce us to a life of mediocrity. If we are going to allow self-doubt to do that, it will steal the good things that can come out of us. It is very important for us to come to that. And we are concluding by saying there are so many people who have started off with self-doubt, and they went on to be men and women of power in words and in deeds. And we need to follow their example, to say these people struggled when they started, but they went on to realize that they are men and women of power in deeds and in words. And we need to be learning from people like that. We can call people who started off in self-doubt as near misses, people who nearly robbed themselves and who nearly robbed the nation of great leaders who came on to make influence or to create an atmosphere of change and betterment of life. These are near misses, people who started off in self-doubt. And we need to understand that about life. And we need to come to this to say it is normal for all of us to experience self-doubt. It is normal. And when we experience self-doubt, this thing we should just take it as a normal thing. It is okay to feel self-doubt every now and then, but we shouldn't allow it to rule, to dominate, and to hinder us from taking our chances at the blessings presented before us. It is okay to feel it. It is okay to experience self-doubt, but we shouldn't allow it to rule over us and to dominate and to hinder us from accessing what is rightfully ours. We have to do some things afraid. It is okay. We need to do some things with criticism, to say, hey, you are not good enough. You are not worthy to do those things. But at the end of the day, we have to keep rolling and improving and doing what we need to do, and never allow self-doubt and the fear of failure to hinder us. And we are ending by saying self-doubt should be taken as a reality check. It is very important. It is reality check because what we want to do is bigger than what we have been doing. Obviously, self-doubt will kick in as a reality check to say, are you ready? Are you ready to step up your pursuit? It is very important for us to realize that self-doubt, all these feelings are just a reality check which warns us of the tasks ahead of us, not a filter which would stop us from being the best version of ourselves and occupying our rightful spaces. If we are going to relate well with self-doubt, we are going to realize that it is just a reality check, which will be a warning to say, hey, prepare bad so that you don't make a mess out of where you are going. And if we are going to relate well with self-doubt and the feeling, it is going to be something that will be a motivation instead of something that will be stopping us from doing what we need to do. We need to overcome self-doubt, and we need to give ourselves a chance to do the best we can. Afraid, we can do this. Doubting ourselves, we can still live beyond self-doubt into a life that will be fulfilling to us. We can do this. Thank you.